Children, so far we have discussed about the second order out of the three orders, and they were the nobles. And nobles were having large estate, as we discussed. They were having manorial estates, and from where they used to get their income, and they were also having a small troop, and they also employed the soldiers. They were known as the knights. So one more important of the order of that society was the first order. So now we will discuss about the first order, and they were known by the name of clergies, means they were the church officials. So the Catholic Church has its own laws, own lands to it by the rulers, means the church were supplied land by the rulers, and that was a major source of the income for the church. And the church also could levy taxes from the common people on various occasions. The church was a very powerful institution which did not depend on the king, means this was a separate entity. It was not like the vassalage system, and the relationship was quite different between the church and the king. So church was an independent body of that time, and at the head of the Western church was the Pope. The Pope was the highest official of the church, as it is till date. The Pope is considered to be the highest priest in Christianity. Lived in Rome, he used to live in Rome, and still the Roman Catholic Church headquarters is in Rome. The Christian in Europe guided by the bishops, clerics who constituted the first orders, means the Christians were always guided by the bishops. They were the church officials, clerics, they were the priests. So they used to guide on certain matter to the Christian people, and generally Christian people were getting guidance from these people, as the ulemas were guiding to the Muslim community. The same way the bishops and clerics used to guide the people of Christianity. So there was a lot of influence of these people upon the society of that time. Most villagers had their own land where people assembled every Sunday to listen to the sermon of the priest and pray together. So Sunday was the day that was fixed up in that time, and on that particular day people used to leave their work and they used to come to the church, where they used to listen to the holy sermon, which is generally preached by the church officials. So as a result, the church officials used to be commanding a very high respect in the society, and people used to follow whatever they used to say. And the Sunday was the day which was fixed for such a holy task. As a result, Sunday was considered to be a holiday later on, and thereafter we are celebrating Sunday as the holiday. Now we will read certain other features which are related to the clergy. First of all, serfs were banned to become a priest. Now first of all, let me tell you who were the serfs. Serfs used to be the unfree peasants, and they were in the lowest part of the society. As a result, they were not allowed to become the priest. Like the untouchables in the past were not allowed to enter into the temple in Hindu community, the same way serfs were also not allowed to become the priest in the church, as well as the physically challenged people were also not allowed to become the priest in the church. Women were also not allowed to become the priests. So there were certain restrictions on these class of people in the society to become the priest. Man who became priest could not marry, means throughout life he had to remain unmarried. And bishops were the religious nobility, like the lords who owned vast estate of land. Lords were given a vast estate of land by the king. The same way the church officials were also provided land by the king, and that was a major source of the income for these people. And they were also like the nobility, they used to enjoy all kind of privileges. The bishops also had the use of vast estate and lived in a grand place, like the grand castle used to be there where the lord used to live. The same way grand place used to be there where these bishops and other officials used to live. The church was entitled to a 10th share of whatever the peasants produced from their land over the course of the year, means whatever the production was done by the peasant in their land, 1/10 means 10% out of the total had to be given to the church, and that was known by the name of tithe. You must have read about the tithe and taille in the class 9th. During the French Revolution it has been described. So tithe was a kind of tax which was equivalent to the 1/10 of the total production from the field, and that was levied by the church, and it was a very oppressive system of taxation. Money also came in the form of endowments. Generally money was also donated by the rich people for the welfare of themselves as well as their family, and sometimes they used to donate the money to the church so that their deceased relatives, means those who have already died, could get a better life in the next birth. So thinking that the church used to get a lot of money from the people, and sometimes the church also used to sell some certain kind of documents, and these were known as the document of indulgence, where the church used to provide a document to a person who used to confess their sin in front of the church, and by paying a sum of money, the church used to supply him a document, and it is believed that through that document that person could be freed from that sin. So that kind of source of income was there for the church, and church used to have a very high income, and they used to live a very luxurious life at that time. Now, what were the ceremonies which were generally associated with the church? You can see from the image that a person is in the position of kneeling in front of the cross. So this kneeling kind of posture was used to pay their worship to the Lord. So the same way the Lord used to kneel before the king, and the knight used to kneel before the Lord. So this system of kneeling has been copied from the system of feudalism. So there are certain other rituals which have been copied from the feudalism, and they were used in the church etiquettes. Like the god is also known by the name of Lord. So the word Lord has also come from feudalism, where feudal lords used to be there, and they were known by the name of Lord because they used to be the lord of the people as well as the land which used to be there under their control. So they were known by the name of Lord. The same way God was also considered to be the Lord, and this word also came from the feudalism. So there are certain court etiquettes which have been implemented in the church as well. Now, who were the monks? This was another category of the priest, but they were slightly different from the church officials. They were deeply religious people, and they used to live in an isolated areas. They used to live an isolated life, in contrast to the cleric who used to live among the people in the towns and villages. Like there used to be saint in Hinduism, and there used to be priest of the temple. So there was a lot of difference between their lives. The same way, these religious people used to live away from the materialistic world in the isolated places, whereas the bishops and other clerics used to live in the town in the grand places, and they were the church officials. So monks were quite different from these people. They lived in the religious communities called abbeys, which used to be away from the towns and villages. Like there were certain famous abbeys in the past, and which are still famous till date, like Saint Benedict in Italy, and it was set up in 529, and of the Cluny in Burgundy, that was set up in 910. So they used to live in the place, and that place was known by the name of monastery. Now the question comes, what is monastery and what does it mean? Here it is written, the word monastery has been taken from the word mono. Mono means single or means isolated area. So the people who used to live in an isolated place, that place was known by the name of monastery. So this is an image of that kind of monastery. You can see that it is in an isolated place, and it is away from the materialistic world. It is away from the towns and villages. Now children, we will discuss what kind of life used to be lived by the monks and nuns. So monks and nuns generally used to spend most of the time in worshipping, study as well as in the manual labor. So they did not remain idle, rather they used to be busy in some or the other kind of work. And there used to be many abbeys, and most of these abbeys used to be the single sex communities where only men used to be allowed to live, or women only used to be living. But there were certain other abbeys where both men and women used to live. But one thing is sure, that monks and nuns did not marry throughout their life, and from small communities of 10 to 20 men and women, with the passage of time these abbeys started growing large in size, and where they were having several hundred hectares of the land, as well as they were also having large buildings and landed estates, and they were also started building schools and hospitals in that area which are generally occupied by these abbeys. So health and education also became an associated part of these abbeys with the passage of time, Later on, these schools and colleges became quite popular and they were known by the name of the convent schools. Now you can see from the image that this is also an image which is in your book. This is also an image of a famous abbey and its name is St. Michael Benedict's Abbey, and that is in Farnborough, that is in England. So you can see that the building is quite large in size, but generally the abbey used to be very small, but this abbey is very large, and the area surrounding this abbey is also quite large in size. So with the passage of time, these abbeys became quite large in size, and these abbeys also started converting into a place of luxurious life, and that also resulted some kind of the lower prestige in the people about these abbeys. Now since these places became the place where the luxurious kind of life used to be lived with the passage of time, so a different group of the monks who started not living in these abbeys, rather they started moving from one place to another place, and they also used to live in the isolated areas, and these categories of the monks used to be known by the name of friars. So they used to be living a very hard life as compared to the monks who used to live in these abbeys, because with the passage of time these abbeys started to be a center of corruption. So against such kind of corruption, these people started moving from one place to another place, and they used to preach from one place to another place, and these people were also commanding a high respect among the people, and generally these people used to live on charity. They did not own their land and estate. So this is all about the first order, that is the clergy. Now there are certain rules which are to be followed by both monks as well as the nuns, and this is a passage which is also given in your book. So we have certain evidence from where we come to know about these rules for the monks as well as for the nuns. So evidences have been found in the manuscript, because the books were written with the hands at that time. There was no printing press, and these books were generally written in these monasteries or abbeys, and it had 73 chapters. So in different chapters there are certain rules which are given. Some important rules we are going to discuss over here. First is chapter 6 said the consent to speak should be granted to monk only on rare occasions, means they were not allowed to speak every time and to everyone, and for speaking certain kind of thing they have to take permission from the abbeys. And chapter 7 says that humanity means obedience, means they should follow the rules which are governing these abbeys. They have to be very obedient. And the chapter 33 said a monk should never possess a private property, means they cannot be indulging in the corruption kind of thing. They cannot possess money or landed estates. So this is prohibiting them to own land and property. Chapter 47 says idleness is the enemy of the soul. So they used to remain busy all the time, studying, worshipping and doing some manual labor. So friars and sisters should be occupied in certain time in physical work and at a fixed hours in reading. So they have to spend certain times for physical work as well as for the reading. Chapter 48 says that the monastery should be settled out in a way that all requirements like the water, mill, garden, workshop, etc. are found within its premises. And the reason was that the people should not move from the abbeys to the areas which are occupied by the people. So they wanted to remain away from the materialistic world. So every kind of facility should be provided in the monasteries, and that monastery used to be considered as the ideal monastery.